Without the creed, what are we? What do we stand for? I'm Nate, and today let's look at The Mandalorian, Season 3, Episode 2, The Mines of Mandalore. In this episode, Djarin heads to Mandalore to find the living waters under the Civic Center in the ruins of Sundari. Trouble awaits him along the way, and Grogu must act to help him. Written by Jon Favreau, Episode 2 was released on March 8, 2023 on Disney+. The episode starts on Tatooine as Peli Motto scams a Boonta Eve traveler into paying her a ridiculous amount of cash to repair his land speeder with the same engine she had the Jawas steal off of it. Din Djarin shows up seeking an IG memory circuit. The Jawas tell him there is no way he will find one, so Peli sells Din her R5 unit, which is most likely the same unit that Luke Skywalker bought in A New Hope. In Season 1, Episode 2, The Child, Din famously tells Kuiil that he's a Mandalorian and weapons are part of his religion. Under all the fanciful space battles and lightsaber duels, the core of the Star Wars universe and the many stories in its lore is a religious one. The story of Luke Skywalker becoming a Jedi is one in finding religion and becoming a priest of sorts. Darth Vader's is a prodigal son story, only the roles of father and son are reversed. With Din, he has always been a faithful adherent, growing up in the faith of his people. But like those who grow up in the faith, as we move into adulthood, we must choose to either grow into that faith or walk away. Some people reject the faith, as Bo-Katan has done. She views the stories and myths as surface-level superstitions. Her people are defined by the current moment and not the overarching bond that brought the Mandalorian people together in the first place. And we can see that has left Bo-Katan lonely and pondering her lot in life. But as Din says, without the creed, what are we? What do we stand for? Din's quest for redemption is a quest into his soul to make his faith his own. In the journey of faith, one must enter the dark chasm of one's soul to find the living waters in order to wash one's sins away and allow one's faith to grow on its own. Din and Grogu head to Mandalore, where R5 is sent out on a recon to get air samples from the city. But Din loses him on the scope and has to go fetch him. Din encounters a gang of Alamites whom he kills with a dark saber. In the book of Boba Fett, Din gets some training on the dark saber, but seeing him finally use it in a fight is really cool. During his training, he struggled with its weight, and here we see that he's gotten better, but still has problems. One of the complaints that most of us had with the sequel series is that Rey doesn't seem to struggle with anything. She picks up a lightsaber for the first time and just knows how to use it. In The Empire Strikes Back, Luke at least has some training from Yoda before engaging in his first lightsaber duel. Great writing shows the development of a character, and here we get to see a skilled warrior learn to use a new weapon, and he still has a learning curve to adjust to. After recovering R5 and discovering that the atmosphere is not toxic, Din and Grogu head into the city to find the mines of Mandalore. Several beasts hide in the shadows looking for an opportunity to snatch up Grogu, who stays close to Din. As Din investigates a buried Mandalorian helmet, he gets snatched up by a mechanical monster and taken to its lair. Grogu must then go to Kalevala to fetch Bo-Katan. Like Din and the Darksaber, we saw Grogu go through some Jedi training with Luke, but this is the first time that we really see Grogu take action. In the first season of The Mandalorian, he healed Greef Karga, but that was rather minor. In this episode, it's a do-or-die decision. He must do something for Din, otherwise both he and Din will most likely perish. When he goes to lift the cage off its cradle, he can't do it because he hasn't developed his Jedi powers enough to do so. So Din tells him to go get Bo-Katan. This means he must also backtrack his way to the ship through the scary mines where all those creatures are lurking ready to eat him. But at this point, he knows the stakes and what he must accomplish. Bo-Katan gets out of her funk and returns to Mandalore with Grogu and R5. I think this shows her true character. She's rough around the edges and has been rather selfish in her quest, but now we see what she's really made of. They find Din, and Bo-Katan uses the Darksaber to kill the beast and free Din. When we saw Din fight the Alamites earlier, he struggled because he was new to the Darksaber, but Bo-Katan has wielded it before. Even when we saw Moff Gideon use it, he wasn't doing so with its full potential, but here we see Bo-Katan using its full might as she cuts down the mechanical monster. Even nobler is that she returns the Darksaber to Din because she still hasn't won it from him. Din desires to go back to the mines despite Bo-Katan's advice. She goes with him to show him where they are. On the way, Bo-Katan tells Din about her father and how she took the oath of the Mandalore when she was a young princess, but to her it didn't mean anything. She thought it was meaningless pomp and circumstance, but she did it because the people loved it and it made her father proud. When they get to the living waters, Bo-Katan reads an information plaque about the waters. She does so in a somewhat mocking voice because she doesn't believe in the superstitions of the living waters or the myths of her people. She clearly thinks it to be ridiculous that a beast called the Mythosaur actually existed. The stories are no doubt a lazy attempt to unite the Mandalorian people behind an idea higher than reality. When Din goes to bathe in the living waters, he gets dragged down and Bo-Katan dives in to save him. On their way back to the surface of the waters, Bo-Katan sees the Mythosaur hiding in the dark crevasse of the waters, and it is a massive beast. Overall, I thought this episode was fantastic. It delved into the darkness that one must enter into in order to better themselves and find redemption, and it showed how living for something greater than yourself and your people can bring purpose and peace. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and if you like the content and the deeper discussion into the themes found in Star Wars, please hit the like button and subscribe to keep me in your feed.